Okay, I think we're back again for a third fucking time. Holy shit in the ass. Okay, trying to get Brad back on. Man, I apologize. This is the reason I do not invest in a bunch of shit that I would have to learn, and because it would make it even more harder. All right. Okay, so Brad's joining.
I'm on. I know I can see myself. I know it's me. Can you see me?
Man, I can't see you at all, bro, at all.
You're just blind as a bat. That's why you
I'm
aren't
the
looking
only
at.
person. I wonder if they can.
You're probably looking at porn on a Sunday morning. You aren't even watching your own damn show. That's not cool, man.
Man, the feeling just got back on my feet. How's it going, man?
Not bad, dude.
Man, I hope like fuck they can see you too, man, because you're funny to look at.
Thank you. I'm on there because I saw the re-air of the last one, and I do show up. You just can't see me.
For real.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm on now. I guarantee you that.
Okay, good. Because like I say, man, that's one of the reasons I know you was like, dude, why does it got to be live? Because all the other shit, man, I mess it up. I fuck it up. You know what I mean? I couldn't try and imagine running a goddamn boom microphone that's in your face, set ahead. It's just going to be shit to throw and knock out of my way when I get frustrated. You know what I mean?
Well, plus they just want to see whether these two old farts can figure out this newfangled technology. That's part of the fun. It's like, I think they may have an aneurysm here to tune in live.
Fuck yeah, technology. Man, Brad. So when we go into this, man, so everybody, I apologize. Let me tell you who we got on here with us. We have Brad Rigler, a comedian friend of mine from Indianapolis. I'm going to let him tell a little bit more to you about who he is, but this dude is fucking funny, man. I'm telling you, I've been fortunate to do some shows with Brad, and this guy is a blast. There's some people you meet. We're going to get into a bunch of this here in a minute, and it's super cool because I recently kind of learned some stuff. But Brad, you want to let everybody kind of know who you are? If you got anything coming up and stuff?
Yeah, I'm Brad Rigler. I am a comedian and host and producer of the Roast War Championship, the RWC, which is roast battles inside a steel cage. It's like the UFC for comedians, but instead of punches, they deliver punchlines in a comedic battle of wits for the ages. And we've got a great one coming up at Crackpots Comedy Club in Massillon, Ohio. I don't know if I can say that right. It's a great town. I go there all the time, but I don't understand why there's so many syllables. Massillon, I'm going to say it quick. You know, I love you guys. I don't disrespect you. I'll come there all the time, but, you know, we're doing it there at Crackpots in beginning of October. It's going to be awesome.
Hell yeah, man. Absolutely. I look forward to it.
Yeah, so that's what I'm all about. I've been doing that and some comedy, knocking around. And mostly, though, Jim, I'll tell you what, I've been focused on. My entire focus is this time of year. It is on youth football.
There you go. Yeah. I see a lot of football coming across the feeds.
Yeah, I'm a coach. You understand?
Oh, man.
They called me in. And I always say this, it don't matter if you're talking NFL, SEC, or middle school girl flag. It all comes down to coaching. And right. I think about that every time. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a mentor. I'm like a general on the field. And I have no doubt that if we came to war, I could definitely send young people out to die on my behalf.
I believe it, man. I think they would follow you. I think you could talk shit to them, and it sound inspirational too. You know what I mean? I think.
And the second I hear a gunshot, I'll be like, "Oh my God, give up! It's
over." Oh, so man, today let's talk about Friends. How's that sound?
Awesome. Speaking of Friends, though, man, you got to tell everybody. You know what you got to do. We got to do what we talk about, man. You're going to be heading over. You're not even going to be state bound. You're leaving the USA, man. You're on the way to Amsterdam.
I am, man, and I'm super stoked about it. And some of the friends that we're going to talk about today, man, are those people, and I greatly appreciate them. And when I say that, I don't want to say that I appreciate them just because are only because of the benefits that come with those people. I say I appreciate them as friends because who they are as people and how they've treated me and stuff. And I'm somebody that they have. There's no bonus to fucking knowing me over there. Not one. There's no benefits that come with me or anything, man. And I judge. I shouldn't say judge. I read a lot off of that. You know what I mean? Because when you have benefits, man, you got to kind of really watch the crowd. You know what I mean? Because ain't everybody there for the same fucking thing.
What are they there for? But no, what is it? Tell people where are you going? What is it you're doing?
Okay, all right. So September 5th, 6th, and 7th is the 2025 19th annual uh, Amsterdam Tattoo Convention. And man, it is a spectacle. I mean, when I say that, I'll be doing live feeds on that too. So I hope everybody checks that out, man, because they are from all over the world. There is not the North and South Pole, man. It's the only place they ain't from, and I'm telling you, it is super, super cool that way. And to be around that many different types of cultures and watch it blend. And Amsterdam's one of those cities anyway. You know what I mean? It's an extremely diverse city. And man, what a beautiful place! I can't wait to get there and stuff like that to share with it. But that's going to be an episode for next Sunday because we'll be flying out Tuesday. So if you're cool with it, man, we'll touch on it next Sunday, and we'll kind of go through what we're looking forward to and stuff like that. If that's cool.
Hell yeah! I just like teasing. I'm a promoter. Okay, I'm always teasing. I grew up with wrestling, like old school NWA, WWF wrestling, and every time they would come on the show, they'd just be talking about the next show. You know what I mean? That's just the way I don't know if you remember if you watched the wrestling. So that's what I grew up. That's what everything taught me about promotion is like you promote the next show, you make it the biggest deal. And by the time you get to the next show, everybody's tuned in to see what happens, and all that's happening is you're talking about the next.
Right? Yeah. Hell yeah. Well, good,
Plus, it
man.
sounds like a
You're
freak show,
that.
man. It sounds like it's going to be like the Amsterdam Tattoo Convention sounds like it would be just. I mean, just the images alone. I mean, just the see the culture there, the different people, and all the different creative and like completely, non-traditional just sorts of expression of art. It probably will. I think it would just be fascinating. A cornucopia of things to review.
Absolutely, man. They got dudes there from the Tabori and everything like that. So there's one guy there that I'm going to interview, or that we'll have on here. And man, I want you to be on that one too. I hope I can. The thing that's going to be is there's a 6-hour difference between us and Amsterdam.
Yeah.
They're 6 hours ahead. So
That's
there's a
all right.
dude there that does their MCing on the stage. You and him remind me a lot of one another. His name is Zadok. Yeah, they call him Zad. And man, that dude, he's funny. He's a great character and voice like you are, man. I think you two are going to mesh like big. But I messaged him. I'm like, hey, man, is there any chance I could get you to do an episode for the podcast while I'm there? And he's like, man, I'm super busy. We hashed out a date. And he's like, dude, what do you want to talk about? And I'm like, well, you're from Amsterdam. So, man, whatever you're down to talk about. And he goes, I worked in a brothel for 20 years. And I'm like, well, okay.
Maybe that's something. That might be interesting. Who knows? Let's give it a shot.
Yeah, because this dude's like, what would you call it? A public, oh man, kind of like Bob and Tom. Everybody fucking knows who this dude is in Amsterdam. You know what I mean? He's one of those guys, and he's super
Everybody
fucking
knows
cool.
the dude, and he's just done it all.
Yes, yeah. This is that guy, and I hope
like
I hope I can get him on the ship because when we go there, we stay on a ship downtown Amsterdam, and I hope I can get him on that, man. And the weather's good, and we can get him on top of the ship and shoot it because it will be, man, it'll be insane.
So hold on, you stay on top of one of those river boats, those canal boats?
Yeah, man, this boat that we stay on was built in 1897. It's called the Amasicha, and it's a really cool boat. You know what I mean? It's not glamorous or nothing like that. It's very clean, and the service and stuff is freaking awesome. You know what I mean? When you're in a place like that, dude, you know what I mean? I don't know, man. I'm putting my money on where I'm going, not really where I'm sleeping. You know what I mean? I don't have to have.
But still, though, that is pretty cool because like there's Amsterdam, for people who don't know, has like these canals running through it.
Oh
And they
yeah,
have these
yeah,
like boats, and a lot of
yeah.
people live on the boat. It's like kind of like a traditional. It's an Amsterdam type of thing, like as much as the coffee shops in the red light district and Van Gogh and all that kind of stuff. It is. It's a part of it's like you are really in Amsterdam. Amasicia, which is actually the cousin of Amasinkia that didn't last as long. Okay, that fell flat. Sorry, dude. I'm writing on the spot.
I thought you was giving me backstory on the name. I was like, I didn't even know where the fuck.
Amasinkia, man. Amasinkia.
I'm sorry, man. I got you.
Yeah, no, now that you explain it, I realize it's hilarious, Brad. Okay.
Right. Yeah. You know, that's one of the coolest parts about going over there, man, is people that are looking forward to you.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You ever be going somewhere, man, and when you get there, it's not like you're just getting there. Man, they're stoked when you got there. You know what I mean?
Yes.
They've been anticipating and looking forward to it for a while. Man, that's big on any level. It doesn't matter if it's somebody far away, a relative or a friend. Man, that ain't like just showing up. You know what I mean? And showing up counts, but man, it's different, man, when it hits the other way. And the cool part of it is that's what it's like every year, man. We'll have them. We've got friends that'll reach out and be like, hey, you know, what days are you getting in? You know, we'll go out and do dinner and stuff like that. And man, that is just, man, that's
awesome.
insane. Yes. Yeah.
To have that
Yeah.
culture, to have that and to have that sense of, you know, I mean, it's a, you know, that sense of, obviously it's friendship, but, you know, a sense of, you know, community. It's like, you know, it feels so good. Like, cause you can, no matter how long you've been away, it doesn't matter. You see them, you're just as excited to see them as you did the last time. And the experience wouldn't be the same if they weren't there. And you get the sense that it's the same for them with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a wonderful feeling.
Oh,
And it's rare. And so that's what I was saying. It's rare. And so once again, when you get to it, when you've lived long enough, you know, like I have, and you realize how to appreciate that, you know, like when those opportunities come, you take full advantage of it, and you say to yourself, you don't take it for granted every time you run into a situation where you're like, okay, this is something that is special, and we need to preserve it, and you stuck with it, and so you've obviously you identified obviously pretty early on, because this year you are like the official podcast of the convention.
Right. Man, and with that, you know what I mean? It's one of them to where, you know, man, I'm super stoked to do it. And you being a comedian, man, you know, you're going to know exactly where I'm coming from with it, and not saying that nobody else will. And I'm not trying to build it up into anything, but man, that's a big responsibility.
Yeah, well, I got to tell you right now, bad start. You're supposed to build it up into something. Yeah, that's your job. So you're like,
Right.
listen, I'm not trying to brag. You're like, it's your job. So, you know, the one thing I can tell you this, and it's like, you know, they say when you become president, no more friends. Your friendships have ended. So whoever friends you've accumulated prior to becoming president, those are your friends. And after you become president, you don't have any more friends. That's what they say. Like everybody, if they weren't friends before, you're never going to make a friend after. And I think that's a situation you have to look at yourself now, as you are the voice of the convention. Everybody who hung out with you before is still your friend. But people who weren't there then are just going to be sucking up to the new face of the convention. You realize, you're like, you didn't know me then. You didn't know me then, so don't want me now.
Right. Yeah. If we already knew one another, I get it. I totally get that. You know what I mean? Somebody that comes out of the blue, you know what I mean?
Is it me, or is it the light that shone on me?
Right. No. Man, hey, that's a big one, dude. That's a really big one that you touched on right there. You know, I think we've done it enough that you figure out who those people are pretty quick. You know, then you adjust. You know what I mean?
What do you think the trick is? What do you think the trick is, though, to this? You know, I have a situation where I'm going down, like, for example, for the last, good Lord, 26 years, I have these dudes. I have a small group of friends that I know through the world of boxing, and we all met because we worked for a promoter, and it was like it's such a niche world, that kind of like we all clicked, and we still like this. In about next month, I'm going down, just flying down to Florida to watch a pay-per-view, right? Like I can watch the pay-per-view on my couch here, but I'm flying to Florida to my buddy Eric's house specifically to watch his pay-per-view with him, and my other buddy Greg. And so like it's worth the trip. It's worth me getting on an airplane and flying to watch a television at this guy's house, right?
Yeah.
And so like, and I always thought about like why these things lasted, that those friendships lasted as long as they did. And I think one of the reasons why it did with this case is because I think that the dynamics of the relationships were always in place. Like these guys are a couple years older than me. If you could imagine, there are people like that. And they're out there, and I always looked up to them, and I never was ashamed of that. They were always guys that I looked up to. Mm-hmm. And so no matter what's going on in my life now, no matter what I've accomplished to this point, I'll always see them in that same regard. You know what I mean? And so like there's never been any kind of jockeying for position or like trying to one-upmanship. It's like I really admire them, and I don't have any ego behind it. Like I just like them. I look up to them. They were mentors of mine, and to a certain sense even heroes. And so like there was never anything I wanted from them except their friendship.
Yes. Yes.
And so like I just like to be around them. I thought they were cool. I just thought they were really great guys. And like it's always been it's difficult to find things like that where you don't feel as though you are somehow jockeying for position or in some sort of subtle competition. I could never compete with them because they were, in my mind, they were just awesome. And and that was it. And so so we've always had that relationship dynamic. And I think that's what really helps make these friendships work is when the ego can drip away and you're just happy to be in the room with somebody and not have any need to anything other than what's being said. There's nothing there's nothing going on behind the words. It's just we are here, and I don't care if I'm sitting on your couch and watching television or we're going out to some big event. It's all the same to me. As long as you're here, I'm cool, right? Because he even said the thing like my buddy Greg's flying in here to hang out with us for a couple days, and then he and I are flying after the kids' football game tie-in, and we're going down there, and we let Eric know, and he's like, "Oh well, don't miss the pay-per-view." I'm like, "We're not missing shit. Number one, number two, you're the attraction." Right? I could watch the pay-per-view up here, buddy. It costs a lot less because it would have it. I'm coming to see you. Yeah. And that's the whole thing. And so it's those are the sorts of things that I think about, and I value, because you don't some people may, but I don't have that over and over again in my life. I only have a very small number of people I can point to and say, hey, that's one of those people.
Yes. Because here's a part of it, man, with that, and it's big on being able to share your losses, right? Your fucking wounds and stuff in life, man. You need that, right? Yeah. You've lost somebody, you've hurt yourself, something. You know what I mean? Something. Man, I honestly think it's just as important to share your fucking wins, man. You know what I mean? The shit that you work hard for, the shit you sacrifice for, and the hard part is, man, is you can't show those to everybody. You know what I mean? Like your friends, if you was to show them something that you won, man, you know what I mean? Something that was important to you, man, they're going to celebrate that win with you. It's not a threat to them.
Yes. Man,
and that is big. You find so many people, and man, it sucks. And I'm not trying to shit on people, but man, if you're one of those fucking people, god damn, man, you fucking suck.
This brings
man, you sacrifice so many things. You know, and you want to be proud of this. I don't give a fuck if there's 9 million people that can do it better than me, man. This one's mine.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And if I can't share that, you know what I mean? Because I can tell you this, man, with your wins, I'm happy as you are, man. I want those for you, too. And if you're not one of those people, we're going to split ways real fast.
For real.
There's not going to be a thing because, man, we ain't for everybody, right?
Right.
Right. We ain't for everybody, and I get that.
It's fine.
And that's just we'll part ways. We don't argue, we don't nothing.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, but yeah, that's what makes those people so special.
It
And
does.
man, God dang, they're special, man.
But you know what? That brings me back. I tried to pitch you on an idea, and this fit a couple weeks ago, and this ties into that. And that's the so what you think you're better than me?
Right.
It's that idea. And we just get somebody on that's telling some story about like they think they're promoting like their nonprofit. Like, yeah, we try to go out and raise money for the troops. And the interviewer just halfway through goes, so what? Like you think you're better than me or something like that? Whoa, dude! I was just talking. I wasn't trying to. I was just telling you what's going on.
Yeah.
Because if we can't celebrate our wins, then what are we doing? If we can't celebrate the highs, if everything's just about like, tell me what bad happened, then it's just kind of like this is like, you know, what's the point of living if you're not enjoying the wins?
Yeah, because those same people are like be the ones that'll fucking tell other people he deserved everything he got. He should have fell off that motorcycle and broke his foot.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
No, man, I agree with you 100% on that, man.
So with that, this is something that we touched on last time, man, and this is something that, man, it's wild because I learned it maybe a couple months back. I can't remember the dude's name. I follow him on Facebook, and he got to talking about what's called a social mutt. All right.
Okay.
And a social mutt is somebody that did not grow up in a K through 12 childhood, right?
Okay.
That their parents were in the service, they moved around a lot. Man, I'm one of those people. You know what I mean? Man, I have lived in so many. The house that I live in now is the longest I've ever lived in any house in my entire life. I've lived here 13 years. The record before that was almost 4 years. That's a lot of moving. You know what I mean? Our family, my wife and my boys, we moved around like gypsies, you know what I mean, when I was in the trade for probably 10, 11 years, man. We was all over the United States. I got one of my boys born in Arkansas. We lived in fucking Minnesota, man, Texas, fucking all over. And I think that's one of the reasons, man, that helps my family be tight that way is because no matter where we went, it was always us at the core.
That's cool. I like that sense of like it makes the family tighter because all you got is each other.
Yeah. You know, and the other cool part of it, man, you know, and like I say, my wife and I, we've been married 36 years.
Wow.
And we have 6 boys together. They're all grown. You know what I mean? It's back to what started it all now. And, man, they're good people, man. And I think by having traveled like that and stuff, man, they really don't meet too many strangers. You know what I mean? They're kind of extroverted.
Yeah.
A little more like myself. Now, my wife, she is not as extroverted as I am. That's how introverted she is. I kind of open the doors. You know what I mean?
But I think that is what lets it last. I don't think you can have 2 extroverts.
No.
I don't think you could. You know, that's right. What about this dude, Austin, dude? He said a true friend will be. Can you read that? Austin.
Justin? Yeah, Justin says a true friend will be there to celebrate any type of win and not try to take away from it, no matter how big or small it is. Never try to make it a competition between us. Absolutely, bro. And Justin, man, that's you. I'm telling you, that's a super good dude right there. I promise you that, man.
Yeah.
That's
Justin
a cool
actually wrote that. Justin wrote that because he and I were standing next to each other at a urinal, and it's been weird ever since.
He'll be back in the comments in just a second.
No, I was jokers, but that's a right on. Yeah. Nose.
Oh yeah, no, he's fucking funny as shit, dude. You like the fuck out of Justin. He's funny. He's really funny.
No, you were saying like about the, being able to have that family be close and then be in a lot of communities and getting into it, but not like being a part of it where it's from. And I got to tell you, that's one thing that I hear you 100%. We move a lot and all the rest of it. And so my wife, she actually moved a whole lot more so when she was growing up. And so my parents, though, they were both from they were both from the same area, my father, he lived essentially in the same zip code for like 70 years, right? So
Holy
like in
cow!
the same
Man,
zip
yeah.
code for 70 years. And like, in fact, when we moved as a kid, now here's where it broke down a little different for me because I lived in this place called Mount Airy, Maryland. Mount Airy, Maryland is in 4 counties. Okay, but it's still it's just a weird situation where it just happens to small town in 4 counties. So we moved 3 times, all within Mount Airy. So I was in 3 school districts: Carroll County, Frederick County, Howard County, Mount Airy, different schools, but the same zip code. And it's so I was moving around, and it was always a different show for me, but it was still the same zip code for them. So it was very odd. Not only did I not have the same relationship with the community that they did, I didn't have the same relationship. I didn't have the same. They didn't even have the understanding because to them it was nothing was changing. Everything was exactly the
Right.
same. Same. We're just moved down the street, but it's like, dude, one street over is a different school district. This is a different world.
Right. Yeah.
And so I got to tell you, you started learning about you just started learning different types of communities and things like that. And then I couldn't wait to get the hell out. So when I grew, a month after graduation, I was in New York City. I went from a small town in the rural area to the big city. And then I moved all over the place, Virginia, California, all that kind of stuff. And, and since then, we've gone all over. In the last 10 years, we've lived in 4 states. So I've always had a sense of like moving and doing all the rest of it and you have to be extroverted, right? You have to be able to get in.
Mm-hmm.
And there are those, but along the way you make connections, but you also do have those friendships that stick with you. And you're like, wow, that really, that touched me, and I'm not I'll always remember the cities and the areas I was at from the real friends, oftentimes friend that I met there. And I'll be like, okay, well, there are my people there. And that's my relationship to, for example, Columbus, Ohio. When I think of Columbus, Ohio, I think of John Johnson, and like a very, who's a mentor of mine. And it's most of the time the people who have the biggest effect on me are people who I feel were mentors, somebody I look up to, and all the rest of it. And one of the things that I've had to open myself more to without becoming arrogant is the idea that, well, I mean, I'm older now, right? I talked about that. I started to realize, well, wait a minute, maybe there are people who look at me like that.
Right.
And I need to open myself up to being that for them, just like somebody was that for me.
Yeah.
And it's always been, because it's a weird feeling, like you don't declare yourself that. You're like, I shall be your mentor. That's
Right.
lame. That's lame. That's not your mentor. That's a weirdo. But
Right.
it's like you somebody else makes you that, but you have to be open to it. And you have different people in your lives that come in and out. I have a buddy, John Beck, back in Pennsylvania, who is a fantastic friend of mine. I'm older than him, and he's still what I would consider a friend, like one of my very best friends, even though we hadn't spoken in years. And I called him up the other day out of nowhere to ask him about something, and he was like surprised. I go, well, hey, I got to check back in more often, because I always thinking about you and your family, and I always do. And as we get older and the time moves and all that kind of stuff, my heart doesn't move just because my body does. I mean, like if I was your friend and I said that today, then I figure 10 years from now I talk to you, I'm still your friend.
100%. Yeah.
Same way. And I was, and for whatever reason, I can tell you that there's not many people who make that list. I haven't got like a phone book of people. It's just
Right.
like he's one of those people. But it also is kind of a reminder to everybody, if you haven't spoken to somebody like that in a while and you're 100% sure it's cool, it doesn't hurt to send a message or a text. Just say, hey, if you take anything from this broadcast, maybe just shoot them a text, DM, say, what's up? Thinking of you.
Yeah.
And that'd be it.
Yeah.
You don't got to do anything else. I'm sure they're busy. You're not asking for anything. But if they're a valuable friend, it's a good idea to tap them on the shoulder and let them know, hey, I still, hey, is all you got to do is you got to send them a Hallmark card or whatever the hell. You just got to say, hey. And that's good, because I was surprised. He was like, well, I haven't heard from you in years. And I was like, whoa, so what?
Right.
It didn't mean
Yeah.
anything to me. I was like, if I got the call yesterday that if you were in jam, I'd been in the car the same as I would have 10 years ago. Do you know what I mean? Like, it never occurred to me. And so it's good to remind people of that, even though in your heart that's the way it is. It's not a bad idea to at least tap somebody on the shoulder, say, hey, and that way they know too.
Yeah. I ain't forgot you, bro.
Yeah.
So on that right there, it's cool that you said that. So going over to Amsterdam and meeting new people, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say it doesn't happen here. This is just something that opened my eyes. So my friend from over in Amsterdam, we have a mutual friend that I met through him who's also a tattooer and stuff like that. And my friend reached out to me. He says, hey, I need a favor. And I'm like, what's that? He says, our friend is not having a good time right now. Help me keep an eye on him, stay in touch with him, and message him. And I'm like, man, absolutely, in a heartbeat. And man, we message, and that's been 3 years ago. Okay. And we stay in touch multiple times a week, showing tattoos and stuff like that. And man, and here's the only reason I said that. And maybe it's me. Maybe I'm the shitty person for it. But man, thankful for the people that show you where to look. Okay.
Yeah.
That made me step back, because man, I'd never had a friend like, hey man, our friend is in trouble. Let's keep an eye on this dude. And all three of us are in fucking completely different places. And I know my friend enough to know that I wasn't the only person he asked for that favor. Right? So by him doing that, man, I try to make that a practice. Like you're saying, reaching out to your friends that you ain't seen in a while. If you've got one that's in a bad spot, man, if you know some of your people around him, man, that you guys kind of come in and fill that space to let him get out of their head. Because goddamn, what a shitty place that can fucking be. Sitting in there all by yourself, man, just making mountains out of molehills, So, yeah, they are, man. People are super valuable on a lot of different levels, man, for sure. Are you still there, Brad? Did I lose you? Have we lost Brad? I think I might have. All right, so if we lost Brad, I'm going to keep on this part right here. So here's what I'll say this. We'll go back to the social mutt part of it, okay? That growing up through K-12, I didn't have that. I moved everywhere from the time I was growing up. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, man. I'm not using it as a crutch. This is the reason I'm an asshole. I'm not saying none of that. I'm just telling you where I come from. All right, that way when we start going on with more of these, or you look up, and we're getting ready to get a little bit deeper here in a minute. But being a social mutt that way, man, you back?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that. I went to my wife just got home and she goes, I connected to the Bluetooth.
I got you. Okay. All right.
All of a sudden, don't worry. Thank God we weren't at the part where we were talking about her.
Right. That'd have been bad. So, man, I was touching on the social mutt part again, Brad, about as far as growing up in different places and things like that, man. And it's wild because I didn't think about it again until you was talking earlier, because I never put it in that perspective. Was community, man. I've never been part of a long community. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just never who I've been. I've popped in and out of a lot of fucking places. So being a social mutt like that, man, you learn to break the ice quick. because I don't know how long I'm going to be here. You understand? I don't know how long you and I are going to have this time. So if we turn around, and it's still like this to today, you know what I mean? And it's wild because I never thought about it. But you turn around, and when you connect with somebody, it's almost like once I get a feel for you, and you'll know this. It's not like you and I have been friends for years and years at all.
Yeah.
We may have known each other, what, 2 or 3 years, maybe 4?
Yeah, probably. Well, we've known each other. I'd say, well, probably the last 2 is really when we started connecting more than anything
Right.
else. But like I said, it's you know what I think the key is that for me in understanding that it is this. Some of it comes from initially when you don't have something you have different reactions to not having something, and so sometimes the reaction is, oh well, I don't want that anyway. Right. You know, so I'm never, it's not a matter of, I don't want anybody to think I'm jealous or I look down on myself of not having this or that. So I say, oh, I never wanted that. So you kind of pull yourself away from it in many ways, you know? And so one of the things is to admit what you want and what you don't have and what you would like to have. So when you don't have a community growing up and you're able to admit yourself, you know what? I'd really like to have that. That doesn't mean necessarily that I want to be, that I necessarily want to have it with the people who don't want to have it with me. That's not what I'm saying, or anything else like that. But it's able to admit, you know what? It would feel good to be a part of a community and to have that attachment. And so, and when you see opportunities, even if it's a non-traditional, like you said in your tattooing community, which goes worldwide, it's not an actual physical place. It's just, you know, or like my buddies in the boxing and all these different things where you can find community and say to yourself, you know what, I never had that, and I'd like to. And so by being able to say, you know, that's not something I have, but it's something I've always wanted. That kind of gives you the inspiration to, you know, do your part and, you know, make it happen. Because it's not a matter of walking in. What people don't realize about any community, friendship, or relationship, it's not something that it only exists because you want it to. It only exists because you're making it exist. We can't have a friendship if one of us doesn't want to be friends. Right. There's no way I can say, oh boy, I sure hope we're friends with Jim. Of course, I can't stand that son of a bitch. You know what I mean? Like, if I don't like you, then we're not going to be then friends. So it's self-perpetuating. And so it's like same thing with community. And that is, if you want to be part of a community, then you've got to make it that. And if you want to be a friend, you've got to be a friend. And it really all comes, it's the only part of it you can control. The only thing you can control is, and that doesn't mean give more of yourself than you feel, than feels right. It doesn't mean that you have to be like, you have to put yourself in a situation that doesn't, you don't feel like you're getting any, you're being taken advantage of. That's not it either. It's just a matter of saying, put yourself out there and saying, I want to be a friend. I want a friend, so I'm going to be a friend. And that's what makes a friendship. And I want to be a part of a community, so I'm going to make it. I'm going to say, okay, it matters that I hear this person is not feeling down. So I'm going to touch him. I'm going to get in touch with them. I'm going to say, hey, and a lot of times people don't realize how you feel about them. I mean, I've heard whispers before in the community. I'll hear somebody say something like, well, I heard that guy's like, I got here. He's like really depressed, or I'm really worried about him. And I barely spoke to the guy, and being an older comic in the situation and knowing comedians and what POSs most of them are, I might even be a little tough on him. But when I hear that and I walk by him, I'll be like, hey man, good to see you. And that's it. And this is something as simple as that. Like, you know what? It matters. I know when you're down, there's no need to kick you, and I want you to know I'm happy to see you.
Right. Yeah.
And obviously you have friends that you go a little deeper on, but just being that way and taking the effort to listen and remember, and something as simple, and also remembering who you are to other people, because it's very hard to see yourself the way other people see you, right?
Yeah, I am bad about that, dude. I'm super bad about that. Unless it's bad, I can got that one quick if they're looking at the bad part. It's like, okay, all right, yeah.
I know exactly. So that's what I was saying is like if you, and I know that too. I'm the same way. Be like, I know exactly what that guy thinks of me. But like a lot of times you start realizing, okay, wait a minute, maybe people look at me in a different way. And as opposed to soaking that up as being like, like something that I should just like bask in some sort of glory or whatever, it's more about responsibility you have. Like,
Yeah.
wow, what my opinion means something to them. That's not some reason to boost myself up, but it's something that I got to take into account and
Yeah.
really, do I use that to lift people up or do I use that to try and lift myself up?
Yeah.
And I think that the best thing you can do if you're talking about building community and being a friend is about lifting other people up and saying, okay, if I'm friends with this person, then I want them to walk away and saying, you know what, I'm in a better situation because I talked to that guy. I feel better about myself. And I feel like that's the sort of thing that comes back to you.
Right. On community. You know what's wild, man, and I appreciate everything you went through. You know what I mean? There's a lot of that stuff that makes sense. There's a lot of that I'll process for a couple days thinking back on it. But man, to be honest with you, that's never anything that I looked for. You know what I mean? And I don't mean, man, that ain't nothing I looked for. That means I never thought about it that way. I never thought about, hey, what would it be like if we fucking stayed here forever?
Right.
I've never had that. You know what I mean? Like in the high school that I went to when I was a kid, there was 4 elementary schools that fed that one high school. I went to 3 of them. 7th grade was a bitch, dude. I knew everybody. So I got to fucking do it again. So then you turn around, man, and with that as far as always, man, I went to school in Kentucky, man. I went to school in fucking Texas, man. I went everywhere. Then turn around and go into the military. Fuck, there ain't nobody from there. Now everybody was from everywhere else.
Yeah.
So, especially being a young man at 18, man, that was boom. You know what I mean? You realize that fucking Crawfordsville, Indiana is just a fucking spot on a dog's ass, man. That ain't fucking nothing. Then you turn around out of the military and you get into construction. Man, I have worked for a shitload of companies. You know what I mean? I'm not the dude that gets locked down with a company, man, and here we go for the rest of our lives. And I'm not kicking those dudes. That's just not who I've ever been. And I'm not a bad worker, dude. I'm a hard worker. I know what I'm doing and all of that. It's not about that. But I think that's one of the things. Like if you get somebody in the trade, I always thought it was wild. A job would be coming down to the end, man. And some of them would look at it like it was a sinking fucking ship, dude. I mean, they'd fucking stab people and stuff trying to save their job. And it's like, bro, that's how construction works. The day you hire in, you're building that fucking thing till it's done, then we go build something else. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And to watch them do that, it's like, no, bro, we're going to build a lot of things. You know what I mean? This is just one of them. And a lot of different parts of the country. My boys do it now, man. I'm super proud of them and what they do. They're not working under me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dad's not carrying them. And I didn't raise none of my boys that way, man. They can all feed themselves with both hands. They do not need me around. And on that part, man, that's something that I'm very, very proud of. And I mean that of all my boys is, man, they can do it. They don't need me. And on that level, I'm not going to say my job's done, but what part of it is done, I believe it's done well. You know what I mean?
That's what I mean. I like the way you put that. Yeah, your job's never done as a dad, I hope.
Never.
But there are different stages, and it sounds like you knocked out some of those stages pretty well. Because that's what's all. But and it's also about because you see these people who live in community too much, and it's all about the reputation that was made generation before they were even born.
Yes.
And they don't have any character other than you see my name. And there's nothing, and I don't want to, and again, I'm not putting down people who have that, who have tradition, who have something they're proud of. It's wonderful, wonderful to be proud of what has come before you. I think it's awesome. And I'm all for it. There are things I'm proud of too. And I can completely admire people whose family built up reputations and standing, all that. Don't want to take that away. But when it does affects some folks as being the only thing in their personality, the only reason to know them, and the only reason they do probably thrive in their environment is because they're in that little speck on a dog's ass, and because of things that happened a while back. You know what I mean?
Right, yeah.
And
Well,
these things don't matter. They don't,
yeah.
outside of that little area, it don't
Yeah.
mean shit.
Now that's a hell of a security net. You know what I mean? That's a lineage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
Yeah.
so I feel, I mean, like, and so they're often, those are often the people who make life difficult for folks.
Oh, yeah.
Who are here, especially if they're capable people, especially if they're capable people. And, you know, and so those things, and while I wouldn't begrudge anybody who has that, and I wouldn't say that it's necessary. I wouldn't say, hey, you know, hey, the biggest favor I gave you is not having a lineage. You know, I'm not saying that. That's dumb. But, but I do think I don't understand that. And a lot of times community, we talk about community is about what you understand.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand that. That's not part of who I am or what I want to be around or what I could communicate with or connect to. I couldn't connect to that.
No, because I know I still got moves to make. I still got places to be. I still got people to see that aren't there.
Now listen, we've been rock and rolling here. What about next week? What is cracking next week?
Next week, man, we're going to talk about Amsterdam. Let me touch on one thing before we get out of this subject. Man, I appreciate it, dude. When we did this last week, it was the same way. I hope a lot of people see this because I really dig this episode. These are the kind of talks and shit that I love to have. So with that, as far as moving around a lot, something people need to remember is, man, there's some people on here. I'm not the Jimmy that you knew, right? I'm not the Jimmy that you knew when I was 18. I'm not the Jimmy that you knew when I was fucking 31, okay? And the wild part is, as far as being a pipe fitter, tattooing, and comedy, even in pipe fitting, there's pipe fitting and pipe welding. You know, and there's some people in the trade that's all they know that I do is I'm a pipe fitter. Some of them only know that I welded. Some of them didn't know when I was a pipe fitter. Some of them knew I was a pipe fitter and didn't have a fucking clue that I welded, right? And it's wild when you meet people and they know you from a certain thing. Then you turn around and bring tattooing and comedy into it. Man, when you walk up and meet somebody, and I'm not trying to say I throw this shit out there like that, you got to watch how you feed that to somebody. Because a lot of times that don't land like you think it would. Like, man, that's fucking cool. You know, sometimes it don't land that way at all.
That's 100% true. I'll tell you this, one thing that I have been very cautious about is actually telling people I'm a comedian because it gives them the wrong impression about me.
Right.
Immediately, because like a lot of times I just connect with people. I'm a regular guy. I just want to talk. I'm a performer. I have, you know, and I look at it as a totally different thing. It doesn't mean that I can't have a serious conversation or connect with you or I don't take anything seriously or I don't, you know, I mean, like, that's not me. That's not who I am. I mean, like, but that is the impression that if you say first saying, hey, this is Brad, he's a comedian, it's almost like, watch what you say around this guy because everything's a joke to him. And it's true.
Yeah.
I do try to find the humor in things, but that doesn't keep me from having a connection with people. And it doesn't tell my story. If I say, oh, I'm in real estate or I'm in this, I'm that, you know, anything that I've done throughout my, you know, anything I'm doing doesn't really define who I am at any point in time. It's just something that I'm doing and interested in, but I've never been Brad the comedian or Brad in my head.
Dude.
I've never been those things. I've always just been Brad. And so I think the more I'm able to connect with people, the greatest friendships are people who see me in that regard rather than as whatever my profession or whatever I'm into at that moment is.
Dude, yeah, exactly, man. And thank you again. You don't identify as any of those. Those are just all parts of who the fuck Brad is.
That's it.
That's it right there. Exactly. Because, man, I'm going to tell you something, and I'm not trying to make this about me, but I'm going to bleed out here for a second, okay?
It's your show, dude. You're constantly telling people, I know this is my show, but I don't want it to be about me.
I gotta watch. I gotta watch who I show these things to. You know what I mean? Because, and I swear to you, man, there's sometimes that I feel embarrassed about it, but man, I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm not. When you tell somebody that, man, I've been a pipe fitter for 36 years. You know what I mean? You know, I've been tattooing like 15, 16 years. You know what I mean? I've been doing comedy for this. You know what I mean? It's some of them, man. In every one of those groups, you're going to have people to look down at. Man, you didn't commit your life to it. And it's like, no, bro. I fucking started a family and had to keep that fucking end together. 8 people's a lot of fucking people to feed for fucking that long. You know what I mean? I would love to just go off and do what the fuck I want to do, but I've got somebody I'm married to, man, that I love, and I got to make sure she's taken care of with insurance. If things that don't, I got to make sure that I give her the best that I can if this shit goes bad on my end. You know what I mean? It's not just about me.
Right on.
You know, but when you turn around and hold those up, you know, you'll have tattooers. It's like, oh, that motherfucker ain't really a tattooer. And comedians, it's like, man, that motherfucker ain't really a comedian. And you'll catch it across all of it. And it's like, man, I don't know what to tell you, dude. It's just, I'm somebody that always stays busy. I promise you, man, I'm always doing something. And these are the things that I love, because in each one of those, I get to meet people. You know what I mean? Tattooing. One of my favorite things about tattooing, I love the tattoo. I love the tattooing, man, and all of it. The connection you make with somebody in the chair, dude, is so fucking big. It's one of the biggest parts to me.
Really?
Because the cool part about being that dude is, man, is people, it's like a bartender. People will tell you shit that they will not tell their own people. You know why? Because I'm nobody, dude. I don't know none of your people to even go back and tell them some shit if I wanted to. So it's just like them walking to an edge of a cliff and just throwing that shit off the side. You know what I mean? And some of the stuff that they would tell you, man, is like, God damn. Some of it, man, will fucking move you. You know, the shit that they went through or going through, you know, it don't even have to be the story behind the tattoo.
Right.
I love that fucking part of it. Then you get into comedy, man. And that's the one thing with comedy that is my personal commitment. I just want to be me. I don't have a character that I am on stage. I want to be the same Jimmy that you see on Funny Bone or Cracker Stage, the same fucking dude you run into at the fucking goddamn meat market at Kroger. It's the same guy.
Yeah.
I don't want to put, you know what I mean? I don't want to put that on. Then you turn around and connect with people like that, and you make them laugh. Oh, dude, come on. Does it get any better? Now, those are my icebreakers. I love to connect with people's sense of humor. You know what I mean? Because I'm going to know who you are really, really quick. You know what I mean? And sometimes they're not your people. You know what I mean? You'll throw it up and you're like, my bad. I thought you was somebody else.
Yep.
And you go away. You're not mad at nobody. You know who your room is, you know, and that's one of them to where there's 3 things I've been told the most in my life, right? What the fuck's wrong with you? Get your fingers out of there and shut the fuck up. I've been told to shut up my entire life.
Yeah.
I can read a room really quick to know if it's my room or not my room.
Right.
Do I say something or do I shut up? Or do I just walk out the fucking door? Because it's going to be one of those. But that's the beautiful part about comedy, man, is when you connect, man, and people are laughing with you because you know that they've shared that same shit too. God darn, dude. And it's like that puking process as far as letting people who you know who you are, like sometimes, man, just in a 5, 7, 15, 30, 40-minute set, they're getting to know who the fuck you are. And, man, I love that part of it big time. Big time.
I feel you, man. Well, I got that. I'm with you 100% on all that, my man. You do not have a booger in there. That guy Rob is full of shit. This is what he wanted to do. He wins. This is his whole goal, was to make you do that. I know you, Rob. I know your game.
That's my brother-in-law. I should have seen that coming. God damn, I'm going to sell one.
Well, listen, next week, let's get into next week. What are we going to do?
Next week, man, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna promote the convention, man. And so when we do that, there's questions, man, that I want. Man, if anybody wants to see anything, And anybody wants to see anything while we're there and all that, we're going to talk about Amsterdam. We're going to talk about the convention and all of that, man, because with that, like I say, I've got the privilege to do this. I want to do it good for my friends. I want to represent everyone there, man, the best that I can. You know what I mean? Every artist there and all, because they're all part of that. And I want to make sure I do the best, especially for the people that had faith in me be able to even do this. You know what I mean? So, and man, even if it's just one time, man, I like I say, I'm super grateful for it. But I promise, I know people are going to get sick about hearing Amsterdam, dude, but that fucking place, there ain't no place fucking like it, I promise you. And this experience is insane. I'm super grateful for it. And, dude, I cannot wait to share it. So, like I say, when we get next Sunday, that's what we'll talk about. And, man, on that, I would like to hook up with you on one of these during the convention. Or maybe at least while I'm there anyway, where we do one of these there. You know what I mean? Just
Well,
kind
that's
of
what
see
I'm
how we
saying.
track
This is a
it.
great opportunity for guys, like I said, people out there who may, like, I'd be fascinated. I might not ever make it to a tattoo convention anywhere, much less in Amsterdam. And so to feel like like I could vicariously be there and see
Yeah.
what it's all about and get a look
Yeah.
under the hood. And I love it. I'd love to see through your eyes what's happening.
Oh, dude, I'm telling you. Oh, but besides my family, this has honestly got to be the coolest fucking thing I've ever been able to be a part of. And it's not just because it's Amsterdam and it's a tattoo convention. That shit's huge. But I'm going to show you the people that I know there, and I hope I can get it conveyed through where you understand what I'm talking about. Because, dude, they are fucking cool as hell. They're super good people. They got a great sense of humor. And, man, I love the hell out of them, bro. I swear that I do. It's a really good time. It is a super, super good time. I'm excited to share it and all of it. I mean, every bit of it.
Next week, baby, I'm there.
All right, bro. Hey, Brad, thanks a lot, man. Like I say, I enjoy the shit out of doing these. I wish the ones that we did last week were recorded, but I'm not disappointed in this one at all, man. I think we tuned it in really, really good. I hope everybody enjoyed it. I hope all you guys enjoyed this one.
I know I did. I'll see you, man.
All right. Later, bro.
Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, man. That was it. I hope you dug my friend Brad, man. I don't know if you could see him or not. I hope you can. I knew the first time that I ever saw Brad do stand up, within the first 2 minutes, I knew I liked that dude. If you ever get a chance to go see him, man, that guy he is fun. He's a really funny dude. He's really, really quick, and he's a whole lot of fun to hang around with and stuff like that. And, man, I'm really glad that we popped this one out together. That was a fun one, like I say. And next Sunday, at the same time, I'll try to do a little bit better about the figuring out where in the hell we're going to be. But, yeah, next Sunday's going to be big. We're going to be blowing Amsterdam up. All right, now I got to go do some stuff and get ready to start packing. You guys be good. Peace out. Love you. See you later.